Bitcoin is pushing 31,000 right now, and Ethereum has broken out above strong resistance. And we're going to go ahead and talk about some very important metrics for this week, as well as what's going on this week and what you guys can expect from the crypto market. Hello there, my name is Cody the Coin Raptor, and in today's video, I'm going to break all this down for you, and I'm also going to be talking about what's going on with the Bitcoin funding rate and open interest that points towards some strong momentum today. So Bitcoin, as I said before, is at about 31K. If we take a look at our chart TA here, we can see that we're just below this strong resistance level here at about 31,400. Now, as I've said before, this area up here is a region of a number of short liquidations. If you guys are watching my last video, you could see that the liquidation levels I have just kind of moved over into my usual Bitcoin chart, and that way we can kind of visualize them better. But if we move up above that level, we are likely to see some heavy short liquidations. But for now, the shorts are defending this position, and buyers are coming in and trying to push the price higher, and sellers are trying to push the price lower and keep the price lower and defend this resistance level. So what we've seen today, though, is a strong push above our previous areas where we were during the weekend, and we're starting to see a lot more momentum trying to carry us into this heavy resistance section. Now, one thing I want to go ahead and point out before I move on to the next area I want to talk about is the RSI. And the RSI on the daily has actually been fairly high recently. It's at 69 right now, which means that it's very close to being overbought. There is RSI resistance here at about 72, 73, so we're actually pretty close to that resistance level as well. So what that means in the near term is that Bitcoin is going to have a very difficult time pushing above this region, but as soon as it does get above this region, we're going to wind up seeing some fireworks. Now, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the historical returns so far. For July, we're only up 0.68%, not a lot compared to the historical norms of July. July is normally a very strong month for Bitcoin, but we're only a couple days into July, so we'll have to actually see what happens for the rest of July. But back to talking about the Bitcoin funding rate, and that's something that I haven't talked about a lot recently because there really hasn't been much change. We've seen quite a bit of sideways chop here in the funding rate, and I really use the funding rate to kind of as a gauge for sentiment. Right now, the longs are in control. The longs are dominant. The longs are paying a premium position to the shorts in order to maintain their position. Okay, so this is just based on derivatives, the perpetual contracts, and what we've seen so far is that it's just been pretty consistent. I haven't seen a jump. I haven't seen a fall. But this is important context for the next thing I want to show you, which is the Bitcoin open interest numbers. The Bitcoin open interest is kind of like a volume, but for those perpetual contracts. Gives you an idea of how many contracts people are entering into. And what we've seen in the past couple of days is a big spike in the number of perpetual contracts. That's kind of in correlation with this large run up. And if we put that into context with the funding rate, we can determine that we've actually seen quite a few traders enter into new long positions in their perpetual contracts. So these traders right now are actually looking fairly bullish. They are betting that Bitcoin will be higher in the near term, and so far we've seen this as part of the reasons why Bitcoin has been rallying today. Now, if we go ahead and take a look at something else I think that's pretty important to discuss is the Bitcoin average transaction fee. I haven't talked about this in some time, but it's worth mentioning that the Bitcoin historical fee right now is actually fairly low. I mean, it's at about $2.35. This is really, really important when we take a look at Bitcoin and we take a look at the use case of sending money from one person to another person, and the fee that you're paying to send this money is only a measly $2.35. I've been sending Bitcoin recently, and I'm just always blown away by how incredibly cheap it is. And this is a big contrast from where we were back in May when we had that big price spike up because of the ordinals. That went all the way up to $31. So it's definitely worth mentioning the fact that the Bitcoin transaction fees are very low right now. And also, I'm going to go ahead and talk about the Bitcoin on exchanges because this is also looking very strong and very bullish for Bitcoin as well. We have the exchange reserve, which shows us that we're at a new all-time low in amount of Bitcoin held on the exchanges. Very shortly, we will be below this 2 million number. So we're going to be under having 2 million Bitcoin available on exchanges. All right, and when we do that, I'll make a whole video on it. We'll talk about what this means for the long term and the short term of Bitcoin. But for now, this is just historic because if we take a look at the all-time chart, we can see that we've never been anywhere close to this amount. We went all the way from, in 2020, about 2.8 billion, 2.8 million, all the way down to about 2 million, okay? So we've seen about 800 million, about 800,000 Bitcoin leave exchanges in the last 3 years. Okay. Now, I also want to go ahead and talk about miners reserve as well. So the number of coins in miners wallets. This has actually stabilized the past couple of days. And if we go ahead and take a look at the last week, we've seen that it's kind of mostly moved sideways. So miners right now aren't really selling. They're kind of holding their position. It looks like to me that they're probably going to wind up selling as we move higher. So as we go above that 31.5 resistance, we're going to wind up seeing quite a few miners sell. And especially if we push into the short liquidation box, we're going to see quite a few miners that are going to be selling as well. Now, I also want to go ahead and talk about Ethereum as well. Ethereum made a big move today, and in the past couple of days, it's actually broken out above this resistance point that we put in here at 1931. The Ethereum continues to show incredible strength right now, and we have to go ahead and put in a new resistance level here now at about 1975, which is about right where it is right now. If Ethereum continues on this path, which it definitely could, we are looking at a revisit of this resistance level here at about $2,014, and then maybe even going as high as 2140. Okay, so Ethereum can definitely sustain this momentum. It's not overbought yet on the RSI on the daily. It's about 62, and we can actually kind of almost put in a very nice upwards channel that Ethereum has been in the past about couple of days, a couple of weeks, I should say. And you can actually see this really nice upwards channel developing in the Ethereum price. So don't be surprised if we actually wind up getting that breakout for Ethereum, and we see very soon about 2,000 or about all the way up here to about 2020 or so for the Ethereum price. Now, that being said, if we take a look at our Ethereum dominance, so this is Ethereum share of the market cap for crypto, we've seen that it's actually pretty close to that resistance point here at about 20.5%. And Ethereum dominance, if I back this out a little bit, is in a very steep uptrend as well. And eventually, either the resistance is going to give out here, or we're going to see a complete capitulation and this upward trend that's been in place all the way since about 2020. We're going to see what happens with this, okay? Because you can actually almost draw this a bit steeper here. And it goes, again, all the way back to January of 2020. So we'll see. Either it's going to break out, or the uptrend will be broken for Ethereum dominance. I'll be watching this very closely in the coming days. And last, I'm going to go ahead and talk about the dollar index. Dollar index, again, is very important when we talk about Bitcoin and crypto, because a strong dollar is not good for crypto and Bitcoin. And so what we've seen here so far is that it's in a very strong downtrending channel here. And I actually do expect it's going to come down here to support at about $100 within the next couple of weeks and continue trending downwards, which is bullish for Bitcoin and for crypto. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the economic calendar for this week and what's going on this week. There's not really a lot, so we're just going to cover some things that I think might be important. So Tuesday is a federal holiday, so they have nothing scheduled. Now, Wednesday, we're going to wind up getting some minutes of FOMC meeting from June, and that's going to be important. We're going to have another Fed president speaking as well. And then Thursday, we get jobless claims, and we also wind up getting the flash U.S. services PMI that could help for determining whether or not inflation's decreasing or not. And then Friday, we have non-farm payroll numbers. This is important for just determining the strength of the overall economy. And we also have the unemployment rate numbers as well. This, I think, is very important here because many people who are talking about an upcoming recession, which a lot of people are, especially on social media, the unemployment rate has to go and spike higher than what it is right now. Because right now we're looking at an unemployment rate that's in the high threes. So in order for a recession to actually happen, what you need to see is a spike much higher, something in the region of 5 to 6% or so, and that would signal an upcoming recession. But if we keep these unemployment rates lower, then we can wind up seeing a delay of the recession or no recession at all, which I think is very possible. And so this unemployment rate, I think, is absolutely key to determining the strength of the economy over the next quarter or two and determining whether or not this is going to carry over into strength with Bitcoin and with crypto. And a strong economy is obviously going to be better for the crypto market. All right. So that's all I've got for you guys today. Let me know what you guys think about this. Let me know what you guys think about like the dollar index and Bitcoin, and if we're going to actually get above 31,500 anytime soon. And also be sure to subscribe to the channel, follow me on Twitter, and go ahead and like the video. Greatly appreciate that, guys. I'm up over 225 subscribers or just around that, and it's been absolutely amazing. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. This is Cody the Coin Raptor, and I hope to catch you guys in the next video.